bunting series. Oregon taking the first one Friday night 13-0. Gophers put up a good fight, even scored first yesterday. Just couldn't quite get the job done. Some sloppy defense, late rally, and fell 5-4. Here at Janes Cole Stadium, as we are underway, ground ball, and safe at first. Similar play to start off last game. It was a ground ball the second, and just so fast is Kai Lushar.
Yeah, it's hard to beat those speedy girls. See here, just wasn't able to get it out quick enough.
Well, Sid Shorts certainly hoping that that start, similar to yesterday. We'll see. It looks like they're going to take a look at this one. They did challenge the play yesterday as well, so nearly exactly the same beginning. Sid Shorts yesterday, 7 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, only 3 of those earned. As here you'll take a look at that replay. Well, it's definitely a big changer in momentum. This is a player that, one of the fastest in the NCAA, as we've talked about. Very, good at stealing bases, getting on. Not a player the Gophers want to see on the base paths. Of course, they did throw her out early in the game yesterday. Great throw from Kraft. So we take a look one more time here from this angle. Hard to tell there. Autumn, what do you see here?
I mean, I don't know that Tobias could have gotten the ball off any faster. But we see the calls overturned there. I mean, it looks like she did get her foot there after Shard had already caught the ball at first.
And so a great play by Tobias, like you said, got it off quickly. And so it's 2 pitches, 1 out. And Paige Snicky in the box for the Ducks. She'll lay one down off her foot for strike 1. Ducks wearing white on green, Gophers gold on maroon. Snicky enters the day reaching base in 16 straight games. She's got 3 hits this weekend, and she'll work with the 1-1 count. Strike 2. So, Autumn, you've talked a lot on broadcasts about infielders taking timeouts to talk to pitchers. How about reviews and things like that that slow the game down? Do you want to keep rolling, or do you not mind a little bit of a break?
That is definitely up to the pitcher. I mean, we see Sid Schwartz. I feel like she's on the field for every single replay that has happened this season. So it just depends on the pitcher. Sid Schwartz likes to take her pitches. I know some pitchers from Northwestern, they don't take their pitches. It just all really depends, I guess, on the vibes of the pitcher and what they're comfortable with.
A 1-2 count, and lined over to right, foul. We saw that right field line, the first base line, pounded yesterday, and a couple good hits there also on Friday night for Oregon. So another 1-2 count to Sinicky, the senior. She'll drive one out to left. Cosgrove backtracking, and she'll make the catch. 2 quick outs for the Gophers. Up next is Kedri Lushar.
We said it, Schwartz pitched 7 innings yesterday, so this is going to be their 3rd or 4th time seeing Schwartz through the lineup. So she's just going to have to make sure her pitches are even better than they were yesterday, and she did a great job yesterday. So just pounding those corners and using her off speed to her advantage.
Bunt laid down. The throw over to first made, not in time. So a leadoff base runner, or a 2-out base runner, I should say. And again, Oregon, this series, a lot of success on the bunt.
I'm sure the Ducks are going to use all the history they have against the Gophers of the 2 games this weekend, and just the mishandling of the ball on defense. So bunting is a great way to do that, to ensure that there's possibly a little bit of miscommunication errors.
Well, when you talk about how good of a outing Schwartz had yesterday, the Gophers also got a good outing from Souza on Friday. There was that one solo home run from Des Patman, but most of the runs this weekend have been piled on from defensive mistakes from the Gophers, as that pitch will move it to a 2-0 count. Emma Cox, the 4 batter for Oregon. You saw her stats there. The throw down to second, and the tag not quite able to be applied as it slips out of the glove of Tobias. Shar looks a little bit shaken up as it got through and got her.
It's like she's shaking her hand there.
And so with two outs, a runner in scoring position for the Ducks. Emma Cox with a 3-0 count. We'll see if she gets the green light here. She'll take it in the dirt. Runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Kraft does a great job of, it looks like Schwartz missed her spot there, so just getting in front of it, not allowing any advancing on the base paths.
Well, we saw the Gophers work out of trouble, Sid Schwartz specifically out of trouble, several innings in yesterday's game. 2 innings in a row, there was a leadoff triple, both from Kaylin Jones. And the Gophers got out of both of them scoreless, or holding the Ducks scoreless. Swing and a miss for Riley McCoy. It's Emma Cox on first, Kedri Luchar on second. 436 average entering the series. As that one clips her. Entering the series, all 9 of the Oregon starters batting above 300. So an early mound visit to Schwartz as Riley McCoy walks it off.
Such a tough spot to get hit. I mean, right in the side of the foot. Gotta give her some time to get down to first.
Well, all the hit by pitches we've seen so far this weekend have been in about the best spots to be hit up until that one. It was just off the edge of the elbow guard and then the very tip of the toe. And so that's the first one hitting a bad spot. Ducks have the bases loaded. Katie Flannery, the sophomore, in the box. She'll take strike 1. It's a 1-1 count. The 1-1 swung on over to third. Chavez picks it up, throws it over to first, and the Gophers escape a 2-out rally. Still score.
Her second game, technically, her innings.
Well, it was 7 1/3 so far this weekend. We'll see how deep she gets today as Tobias will take ball 1. Tobias establishing herself as the consistent leadoff hitter, followed by Kraft. We talked about this earlier, the fact that Kraft still held up in that 2 spot instead of more the traditional power hitter hitting cleanup. Gophers did do a good job of getting leadoff runners on earlier this series. Ball to Tobias. It's a 2-1 count.
And Tobias has had a bit of issues in the box this season with stepping out of the box. So stoppers or anyone, your foot is not allowed to come out of the box. So she has been called out for that, which she was yesterday.
Well, she'll drive it foul to the left of third base. We saw 2 of those this weekend, batters leaving the box too early. And so it's a 2-2 count to the leadoff hitter, Tobias. Grind looking to work quickly in her 3rd game this weekend. And called strike 3 on Tobias. It's the first batter, first strikeout of the day looking for Grind.
Yeah, Grind just clips that outside corner. Such a good pitch. A little bit more of a pitcher's pitch, definitely on the corner, but I mean, it worked in her favor.
Well, Taylor Kraft, she was the first run batted in for the Gophers this weekend with her 2-run homer. She'll get a free pass to first base. Of course, the Gophers only scored off of her 2-run home run until the bottom of the 7th yesterday. See there, just barely clipping it. And we talked about, you know, not getting hit in the worst spots. That's sort of what the one on Friday was as well. As Valencia will step in, 1-0 count. Strike 1. 1 out, Kraft on first after a leadoff strikeout to Tobias. And just missed her spot there.
Yeah, Grind does a great job of, even her misses are still competitive pitches, which is what you really want in a pitcher, because then it gets the batters to guess. She's been just so fun to watch this whole weekend.
Fouled back, 2-2 count. And Autumn, as you said earlier, the Gophers, even though they got shut out on Friday, I should say, they still did better than most teams have done against Grind this year. Two swung out right center and put away easily. Returning to first is Kraft. It's Ayana Shaw with the catch out and right.
And we've seen Oregon's outfield do some damage this weekend. They have been absolutely phenomenal out there. They actually had a SportsCenter top 10 play this past weekend out in center field with a catch over the shoulder. It was absolutely amazing.
Well, that and then the very next play nearly diving forward. Those both Kedri Luchar. Grounder to short, over to first, retires Snipes, and 4 up, 3 down. Ducks will return to offense.
Say amazing things about her till I am blue in the face. I think she just is so amazing at teaching. Pitching, obviously she's had great pitchers in her time. She was a great pitcher as well. She has recently, in the past 5 years, stepped into a new role. So definitely seeing a little bit shift in the program, but one of the best coaches I've ever had.
Well, 2 strikes, 0-2 count to Ayana Shaw. She'll swing and miss. Strikeout for Sydney Schwartz. And bringing up the 8-batter Des Patman. She did have that first run of the series in that home run, 3rd inning on Friday night. Miss there from Schwartz on Patman. Patman went 0 for 2 yesterday. as she'll take strike one. 0 for 2, but she did score a run on a walk. Those other 2 at-bats, 2 strikeouts.
We've seen throughout this season, it seems to have taken Sid Schwartz a little bit to warm up in these games. But then she really finds her zones coming into the 2nd and 3rd inning where she starts cooking a little bit and using her pitches to her advantage and then going after hitters' weaknesses as well.
Certainly saw her settle down later in the game yesterday. Even when the Gophers were giving up runs with some poor defense, she just looked a lot more comfortable in the circle after that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to speak too much for her, but I do think her attitude is just like she's going to do the best that she can, and what she can control. So it's kind of the mindset you have to have as a pitcher, especially with how the defense has been doing this year for the Gophers, is just you can't let things that are out of your control kind of eat away at you.
Well, Patman gets on base via the walk. Kaylin Jones, she had 2 triples yesterday, both lead off. Once stranded at third, once got thrown out at home. Ground ball, 4-6, and it'll stop there, but they do get the lead runner. 2 outs, runner on first, back to the top of the order for the Ducks. Kai Lushar, certainly a player you know can beat out a grounder. She's done it several times this weekend. Chavez almost halfway to the plate. By the time the pitch crossed home plate, I think she was halfway home, ready for that bunt. She'll ground it up the middle and out over to first. So another 4 batters faced, 3 outs. Net in the box. She's had a good weekend. She'll take ball 1.
Even just the way Oregon plays and how they carry themselves on the field is absolutely phenomenal, and what you would expect of your players. They just have so much confidence and they look like they all get along. So it's definitely really fun to watch a team like this.
Swung on and missed. For Burnett, she had an RBI in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch single to center. That brought it within a 1-run game. She'll take an inside strike 2.
Grind is just really painting those corners. I mean, she's going inside, outside, and hitting right on the black of the plate, the outline.
She'll swing one foul to the left of third base. The Gophers did get 2 earned runs on Grind, not something that happens all that often. Those both coming yesterday. Fouled back. We'll get another 1-2 for Burnett.
I must say, Grind has looked like she's just been in control of every single at-bat that she has been a part of this weekend. She just exudes so much confidence on the mound, and that is really tough to hit as a hitter.
Well, she gets Burnett swinging. 1 down here in the bottom of the 2nd. It's Cosgrove. She'll be followed by Schwartz. And Chavez and Easton before sending it back up to the top of the order. Yesterday, Cosgrove went 1 for 3. She'll take strike 1. Our officiating crew today: Whitney Fulvin behind the dish, Terry Holt over at first, and Kevin Condor at third. Another pitch swung right through, and like you said, she just seems completely in control.
Yeah, she's just slowly inching each pitch off a little bit more, which is exactly what you want to do as a pitcher. We call it laddering, either east to west or north to south.
Fouled off just barely. Gophers had a couple foul tips, or have had some this game, but even then it feels like just inches away from a strikeout. Oh, 2, 1 out, bottom of the second. Swung on, deep left, backtracking, and making the catch at the wall. It's Kai Lushar. Good contact, but strong defense in that Oregon outfield.
Yeah, we heard it from the crowd here. Definitely looked like it might have been going out. She just got 2 under that. The ball was in the air for quite some time.
It looks like Lushar even, or pardon me, Grind had a moment of, oh darn, is that out? Well, a sigh of relief, just another out, and now she's got 2 down to the Gopher pitcher, Sydney Schwartz. Schwartz hit yesterday and got a hit for the first time in a month. Some lingering issues, injury issues, she hadn't been in the offensive lineup. She'll swing and foul tip, strike 2, straight back. And it looks like that long fly ball did not shake up Grind at all. Swung on, right side of the infield, gloved over to first. And so 3 up, 3 down. Gophers retire. Certainly hoping for a better result here this afternoon, as it's ball 1 to Paige Snicky. She flew out in the first again, looking to expand and reach base for the 17th straight game. Decent crowd here. Beautiful day out in Minneapolis. Not too many home series with good weather in Minnesota. And so when you do, I mean, you got 2 straight sellouts yesterday and today, and a good showing. Still Oregon fans showing out by their dugout. Two-0 count to Snicky.
We talked about it earlier, but the weather was so nice. I had the opportunity to come watch the game as a fan yesterday, and I got a little sunburnt for being out for an hour, so it's definitely nice weather in Minneapolis.
Souza running into control issues again. We talked about it all year, really throughout the Gopher pitching staff. And you know, it may just be one of those things that whatever team you watch, it feels like they have control issues. But it certainly has been an issue, as that's the second time this weekend that we've seen a bat thrown away thinking it was ball 4.
Yeah, and Piper Ritter is really into getting ahead of batters, as I'm sure most pitching coaches are. So when pitchers get behind, I do know that is something that's very frustrating, but...
Fouled off on the bunt. Saying that it got her. The crowd certainly thought it hit the bat, so did Ritter.
See here. Looks like it might have hit the elbow there a little bit.
It looks like the elbow.
Yeah, she definitely pulled back as well, so. I do wonder if they'll talk about if she was over the line. She was kind of a little close to home plate. If you are over, sometimes they will call that a strike.
Well, you see there, umpire meeting in the infield. And Ritter will take a brief mound visit. We don't have in-house replays here at Jane Sage, so when a call like that happens, it sort of sits with the fans. And certainly seeing that replay, it does seem like at least it clearly hit her, not the bat. Whether or not she was over the line, a different issue. But Ritter will talk to Natalie Souza, and we'll get back underway. So it's Kedri Lushar with Snicky on first. That does extend her reaching base streak. Kraft will look her back over to first. And not every game in those 17 games has been a pretty way to get on base. Some walks hit by pitches, but most of them have been hits. And certainly a very powerful bat and good to have in the 3 spot.
Doesn't matter how you get on base. I mean, that's why we have the on-base percentage, right? That also helps you determine how much a hitter is getting on base. So anything you can do for an opportunity to score a run for your team.
Kedri Lushar will swing that one foul, bring it to a 1-2 count. Again, Souza getting ahead of a batter here, something that she struggled with early on Friday. Did a little bit better as the game went on. Same story as yesterday with Shorts. So get another foul off, just over the fans in the bleachers behind the third base dugout. Certainly speed on the base paths on first. She'll take off, strike, and the throw sails into center. The play at third, and she's safe. And so it's a runner on third, 2-2 count. And difficult error for the Gophers.
Yeah, it looked like Kraft just, pitch was going up into a lefty, turned her head a little bit, didn't get her head on the target, and just sailed that one over.
Swung on, deep center field. It's gone. And so the Ducks get on top. Another home run in the 3rd inning. Same story as Friday. They've got a 2-0 lead.
You said it, same story. I mean, a lot of the hits that came on Friday were hits that were just, or pitches that were just left too much on the middle of the plate, and we see that if you leave an elevated changeup, well, if you have an elevated changeup at all and then leave it over the middle of the plate, that is honestly a recipe for a home run.
And so Kedri Lushar gets 2 runs batted in, and just like that, Gophers trailing again. Emma Cox stepping into the plate, the 4 batter, 3rd of this inning. She'll ground it over to first, and Chard picks it up, takes it herself, 1 down. Pardon me, Schwartz takes it over. Schwartz re-entering over at first after being taken out in the circle. Like you said, we may see her come back later in the game. Ball 1 to Riley McCoy. She'll take a strike. Souza had 14 pitches today. Two-one count. Gophers did a really good job yesterday of, after giving up those 2 runs, staying strong and not letting things get out of hand like they've done several times this year. We'll see if they can do the same thing here today. Swung on and missed for strike 2. And it's McCoy, Flannery, Shaw is the 5-6-7 for Oregon.
We even just saw a little glimpse of how things have been going for Minnesota softball with the steal, the overthrow, runner getting to third, and then giving up a home run right after.
Flown into right and misjudged, out of play. We'll get another 2-2.
And I do want to say, you cannot stop a home run. It's just the timing of the home runs, right? If you give up a walk or hit by pitch in this situation, and then the error, and then the home run after, everything just really culminates into something that is not so great and kind of gets you down as a team.
And certainly not something you can pin on any one player. As a soft line drive over to Tinley Easton put away. I think in the last 2 games, every member of the Gopher infield made some error, not necessarily in the scorebooks, but a mental mistake or something. So it's not something you can just pin on one player and say, you know, this game, that run all happened because of you, which is at least good to have it more spread out. But it just feels like when one thing goes wrong for the team, a lot unravels.
And I will say, the one thing I think the Gophers could do a little bit better at is just looking a little more cohesive as a team. You see the infield doesn't communicate as much, and I do think that possibly leads to a few more errors. I mean, especially as a pitcher, you have to have your pitchers back, let them know that you're there for them, give them some more comfort. I do think that could help them out a little bit later on in the season.
Ahead in the count to Katie Flannery. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Sound misses off the edge. When the Gophers return, it'll be 8-9-1, Chavez, Easton, Tobias. Souza. Did she go? Yes, she did. Strike 3 swinging. Souza gets out of after 2 runs scored, 3 straight outs. Chavez will take ball 1. She got pinch hit for late in the game yesterday. Hasn't had the hottest bat as of late, but a senior that the Gophers are really hoping to get going in these last couple weeks of the season. Grind again pitched. 1 full game's worth over the last 2 days. Sokolsky started the game yesterday and got pulled out soon after that, a home run to Kraft. Stacy Chambers came in the 5th inning for the Ducks on Friday. Swung out to left, over the left fielder. Chavez will hold up at first, and it's a wall single over the head of Kai Lushar.
That looks a little bit more like the freshman year Kayla Chavez, honestly, hitting the ball deep. Very long single, like you said, out to the fence. Just looks like a little bit of a misread in the outfield there.
Well, still able to keep Chavez on first base. And so even though the Gophers only have the 1 hit, they've barreled it up really well twice already. As that one right off the window in front of us. Tinley Easton playing second once again today, the 9 batter in today's game. With Chavez on first, she'll lay one down, look to lay one down, play back at first, hits Chavez. And so it'll be a 1-1 count. See the replay there, misses off the edge. Throw back just gets Chavez. She probably would have been safe either way.
I mean, Chavez does a great job of keeping that in front of her.
She'll try to lay one down again. Does so, well placed. Chavez easily makes it to second, thrown out at first. And the Ducks do a good job covering third base. So both teams do their job. Chavez on second, 1 out, runner in scoring position, and back to the top of the order for the Gophers.
I mean, that is a picture-perfect bunt, but when you have a defense like Oregon, I mean, that is just another routine play. Awesome job on both sides. That's just some good softball.
Umpire talking with the Oregon staff. We'll see if we're getting a substitution or what is being discussed here. Outfield convening as well. Again, the Gophers have gotten into good positions offensively, and other than the last inning yesterday, just haven't been able to produce out of it.
I wonder if they're, I mean, there's plenty of things they could be looking at, whether her foot's out of the box or possibly even if the ball hit the bat, when the bat was on the ground, that is. Not quite sure.
Well, it's hard to tell from that angle. It looks like it might have at the very end, but it's close. What do you see from that look?
I see just about the same thing as you. I'm not even going to try to guess about that one. And you do have to, the umpires do have to see like 100% proof that it either did or didn't for the call to be overturned.
And so there you see them out and right, taking a look. See if this angle's a little bit more clear. Still very close. Once again, it's Whitney Fulvin behind home plate, Terry Holt and Kevin Condor. The latter two out to make the call. And so as it stands, the Gophers will have Margaret Tobias. She had a rough Friday, a little bit better yesterday with the runner in scoring position. And so getting the call here shortly. See if the bat hit the ball after it was dropped out in front of the plate. And yeah, they'll send her back to first. So a near picture perfect bunt. Just couldn't quite get the bat out of the way. We'll see one last look here. Well, it's hard to me to see conclusive evidence in that case, but I certainly think either way wouldn't be the wrong call. It's close enough in that case. So Tobias top of the order, just with a runner on first now. Still one out. 0-1 on the day. She struck out 3 times again on Friday. Saturday she went 1 for 2, scored 2 runs. She also had a stolen base. She'll swing it foul over the fans and behind the third base dugout.
Yeah, I talked about in Margaret Tobias's first at bat how she has been stepping out of the box, and the umpire did just call it there. So she definitely has to keep those feet in, or else you will be called out.
So she'll keep an eye on that with 2 strikes. And a good take there. Tobias followed by Kraft and Valencia. Gophers would certainly like to get that duo up with 2 runners on. So there's ball 2. The Gophers totaled 8 hits yesterday. 4 of those on Grind. In Friday's game, in the 4 innings that Grind pitched, she only gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. She does already have 2 strikeouts today. Another
There
one
it is
fouled
again.
off,
Yeah.
caught off the net, but yeah, stepped out of the box.
Yeah. Seems to be an every at-bat occurrence. I mean, I'm not a slapper, never been a slapper, so I'm not really sure what to fix about that, but
Well, at the very least, does see a couple more pitches, maybe knock Grind out of the game before it gets too late. So now it's Taylor Kraft. She'll pop one high over behind the plate. The catch just barely made off the fence. It'll send the Ducks back onto offense, maintaining a 2-run lead. And so go. That's another hit by pitch. And so the Ducks again have an early base runner.
oh yeah. We heard that one from up here. That was a hard hit, right on the elbow guard.
We'll see how long of a leash they decide to give Souza here. She certainly did work out of it well after giving up that 2-run shot. She will get strike 1 on Des Patman. Shaw on first, Patman at the plate. Will swing through it for an 0-2 count. The 0-2 from Souza. Swung on, fouled back. Hitting 62 on that pitch. She'll get another chance. Oregon has only lost this year when giving up 4 or 5 runs, so looking good right now. Souza wastes a pitch there, so we'll have another 1-2 count.
Yeah, the 0-2 pitches, Coach Ritter really wants the ball off the plate. That one's just a little too far off the plate there.
Swung on and missed. 60 miles an hour, puts away Des Patman, brings up Kaylin Jones with 1 out here in the top of the 4th. Jones, the best part of her day was against Sydney Schwartz yesterday. She had those 2 triples. Souza did a good job targeting in on lefties in her Friday game, as we'll get a mound visit. And so Souza in the circle, 1 out, runner on first. It's Shaw on first. And she'll get some encouragement from her teammates. Stepping back up into the plate, or into the box, is Kaylin Jones. The runner goes, throw over to second. Nearly the same play, but Shaw not able to advance. And so a runner in scoring position for the Ducks.
Yeah, it looked to be the same exact play, honestly, as last time. That ball into a lefty, Kraft just not able to get it in line with second.
Ducks 1 for 5 with runners on, 1 for 2 with runners in scoring position. After Jones, it's back to the top of the order. Fouled off. Their only 2 hits today have come from Kedri Luchar, though they've gotten on several more times with walks and hit batters. Ball out. make it a full count. Souza to Jones.
And Kendry Lashar has done it both ways. She's had a bunt and a home run.
Well, hard to imagine more opposite ways to get on base. Swung on and missed. Make it 2 outs for Souza. It's her 3rd strikeout. And that'll bring it back up to the top of the order with Kai Lushar. Now you mentioned Kedri Lushar having the bunt and the home run. That's sort of characteristic of this whole Oregon team, that they've got the speed, they've got the power. It's a team that can attack you in a lot of different ways, and they've shown that throughout the series this weekend.
Yeah, and then, I mean, with the speed on the base paths, that also just helps you so much. It's partly why they're so successful, because even if they do get on base, let's say from a walk or something not as pretty, they are able to get their runners in scoring position, and then they have great results out of that from their hitters.
It's caused errors for the Gophers, with both of those trying to catch the runner stealing, advancing to 3rd. It's gotten rid of some double play opportunities. That was a big thing in yesterday's game. There was a double play chance after a stolen base that then they only got, of course, the out at first. Try to lay one down here. It'll be a strike. So an 0-1 count to the leadoff, Kai Lushar. She almost beat out that single to Tobias back in the 1st. Chavez once again in heavily. And now she can back up a bit with 2 strikes. Lushar, one of 3 seniors, one of 4 seniors, I should say, in the lineup for Oregon. Same number for the Gophers. She'll walk away from ball 1.
We saw in the first game that once the Ducks got on to Natalie Sousa's changeup, they were able to call it and got some hits out of that. So we heard their dugout calling her changeup on that one.
Play over to short. Fumbled by Tobias. It'll move runners to the corners. And we've seen her get a little bit sloppy on plays when there was a runner on second advancing to 3rd and the ball's hit to her, especially on Friday.
Yeah, I wonder if she's just trying to get the runner advancing to 3rd because she thinks it'll be an easier out based off of how fast Lushar really is and how close the previous play in the first inning was. But it's just taking care of the ball that is coming to bite the Gophers.
The runner over at second, fake the throw, doesn't matter, nobody anywhere near. I think Souza was actually the closest to second base at that point. And we were talking about this off air at the beginning of the game. It's really the fundamentals that when the Gophers have made errors, it's been on the fundamentals this weekend. Just missed catches and we'll take a look back at this play. She certainly thought that it got her. One of the fans, if you couldn't hear that, asking for a delay of game. I don't even know if you call that a penalty or what in this case, but
yeah. I mean, the umpire, we see her turn around, point at her where her wristband is, and the umpire says no. I mean, from there, it looks like it didn't hit her.
Well, they'll bring her back to the plate. Sneaky 0 for 1, but on that earlier hit by pitch, extended her reaching base streak. That earlier hit by pitch, the one that was contested as well, where it got the elbow and people thought it either got the bat or the bat crossed the line. There's strike to make it 1-2, 2 outs, 1-2 to Sinicki, the two-hitter. She'll drive it out to second. Easton makes the play over to Schwartz at first, and the Gophers escape any damage. Valencia, the three-hitter, up against Grind. She'll take ball one. Grind up to 40 pitches on the day. She's got 3 strikeouts, no walks, though she has fallen behind some batters. Overall, done a quite good job with her command, though.
I mean, it's games like this, or as a pitcher, with how much control she's been in of these at-bats, this is more of a game where you can kind of just play with your pitches, you know, like you're the puppet master and you're just toying with these batters. So could be a little bit of the reasons of her getting behind in these at-bats.
She'll get strike 2. Bring it to a 2-2 count. I certainly can't remember a game I've worked for the Gophers this year that a pitcher on either side has looked this in control.
I'm going to counter that. I'm going to say Lauren Boyd from Northwestern. She did a phenomenal job when they played here a few weekends ago. And both pitchers from the top 2 teams in the Big Ten. So.
Well, ground ball too short. Valencia can't quite make it to first. And so 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Of course, after Northwestern's loss, Oregon does take over the top spot in the Big Ten. So Snippes will come up to the plate. She'll be followed by Burnett.
You know, I'm not too sure what Snippes' approach is when she comes to her at-bats, but we have seen her first at-bats this weekend. She's swinging immediately, and then her second at-bat, she tends to let the at-bat flow a little bit more, swing at less pitches.
Also take to a 1-1 count there. In both today's and yesterday's games, she's officially listed as the pitcher. Gophers have done that quite a bit this year, listing Schwartz as the DH and then moving her over to pitcher. Ahead in the count, 2-1 to Snippes. Burnett on deck, followed by Cosgriff in the hole. She'll foul one off. We do see, it looks like 2 arms down in the Oregon bullpen getting loose. Certainly doesn't feel like there's a rush to get them in, but may save Grind's arm if Oregon piles on in the next inning or 2. Another fouled back. So another 2-2 chance for Grind to put down Snippes, pardon me. And swung on and missed. Strike 3. Grind gets her 3rd strikeout swinging. And that will bring up Breezy Burnett.
Yeah, Grind was really jamming Snippes inside that hole at bat and then just goes outside. Snippes not even able to get a little bit on it.
So Breezy Burnett up to the plate with 2 outs. She's had some clutch hits this weekend. She'll think about laying one down and take a strike. This is certainly a player that has been really good in the outfield, has the speed, just hasn't quite gotten the bat going as she'd like to, but this weekend she has done a good job. She had the Gophers' first hit, one of only 2 on Friday. And Burnett to center. Bouchard there to put it away. And so 3 up, 3 down for the Gophers. Oregon take move up, both in the team record for single season steals, in which Oregon is also tied for 6th. They'd have to get up to 8 to tie 2019 Indiana for 5. And Kai Luchar individual steals 2 more, and she'll tie Emily Allard of Northwestern back in 2011 for 5th. She's got to get 16 to tie Angie Marzetta from Washington 1993 for the single season lead, which is a lot. It could happen, but she'll have to get on and at least get 1 or 2 more this game to keep on track for that.
I mean, with the pace they're going, the chance of postseason and making a long run in postseason, I'm sure she'll get close.
Well, you can always debate with various season expansion and postseason what you can count in those sorts of records, but wherever it falls in the standings, it's an incredible season and an incredible accomplishment how much she's been able to do that, and such a huge part of this season's success for Oregon, as her sister now in with a 3-1 count. Tedry, of course, has been phenomenal in the outfield this series. And nearly threw her bat, but left it with her, and we'll get a full count.
I mean, you said she's been phenomenal in the outfield, which she obviously has, but she is 2 for 2 today, the only 2 hits of Oregon, so been very successful today as well.
She'll get a 3rd hit, a line drive, and she'll hold over at first. Good contact through the left half of the infield. Gets a leadoff runner for the Ducks.
I mean, she just goes with that ball. That's honestly great hit. Great pitch location, so just able to get her bat on that.
Souza up to 48 pitches now as Cox comes in. Cox will take a strike.
I said it a little earlier in the game, but as Sousa starts going through the lineup a little bit more, she needs to make her pitches even better. This is her 2nd time through the lineup, which on Friday is where she started to struggle a little bit more, the more these Oregon hitters saw her.
Will drive out to left. Cosgrove backtracking off the wall. Cosgrove played it well. No play over at 3rd, but they will keep the runner. So 2nd and 3rd with another double. Good piece of hitting by Emma Cox.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about it. 2 middle, you can't do that with these Oregon hitters. They're going to take that out.
Well, Emma Cox and Ayanna Shaw, 2 batters who this weekend returned to the lineup after injuries in February for the first time. Both got hits. Flannery certainly spoke over the weekend about how great it was for the whole team to see them back in the lineup, and they've shown out. We will get a pinch runner over at 2nd, something that the Ducks run quite a lot. It's Reagan Legg. She came in yesterday. And so with the pinch runner on 2nd, it's Riley McCoy up to the plate. McCoy fouls one back, well out of play, and narrowly missed a couple fans in the concourse. Again, a really good showing from Gopher fans, and as well Oregon fans and family showing out. McCoy will take for a 1-1 count. So after that from Cox, 4 hits on the day for the Ducks, 3 of those coming from Luchar from Kedri Lushar. In total, it's 2 runs on 4 hits. They've left 6 on base. Minnesota 1 hit, 2 errors, left 2 on base. She'll take for ball 3. And a couple words of encouragement. No timeout called by any of the infielders, but they'll at least talk to Souza. Fouled back. Right by the concession stand. And we'll get a full count draw. Still no outs here in the top of the 5th. Another pitch fouled back. So another full count to McCoy. After her is Flannery, Shaw, and Des Patman. The full count, swung on and missed. The first out of the inning comes through a strikeout. Souza's 4th of the day.
That'll be the first time in a while I feel like we've seen a changeup from Souza, so great job. 3-2 count. I mean, she's been fouling off your pitches. What a pitch.
She'll get behind Flannery. And so the bottom 5 of the order, a collective 0 for 8. Two batters reaching through hit by pitch and walk. And Souza again falling behind.
Yeah, Souza's just really starting to miss low, which is not what you really want with runners on base in scoring position. So we see that Coach Piper Ritter is going out there to talk to her, just settle her down a little bit.
Well, already a tough situation for the Gophers. They really want to get on top here because Oregon has not lost when trailing or when leading after 4 innings or after 5 innings. They've given up leads after the 2nd and 3rd inning, but once they've got a lead later in the game, they've not lost this season, so certainly need to keep them at 2 here and strike back on offense quickly. Souza does get the strike.
That's a little bit of an interesting combination, especially with the Gophers scoring majority of the runs in the 5th inning. So we'll see how that plays out at the bottom of this inning.
The bunt rolls foul, so a 2-2 count. And you can say all the stats, and this is true with any good team in any sport, all the stats about, oh, they only have this many losses in this scenario. It's a team with 4 losses overall, and so of course they're not going to have many losses through the majority of these combinations, but certainly a team that has been effective at closing out games. Foul fly ball. And another 2-2 count. Souza hasn't walked a batter today. She's fallen behind, but she's done a good job of catching up. And so the 1 out, 2-2 with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Top 5. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Souza. Make it 5 on the day. Especially with a team as fast as this Oregon team is. Strikeouts are really the only thing you can get to make sure the runner's not going to advance. Ayana Shaw back up. She's 0 for 1 on the day. 441 on the year. It's actually the second best batting average among Oregon starters today.
Sousa just really keeps having to dig herself out of these holes that she's creating in these at-bats.
Well, she gets the strike there. This is something that we saw, especially from Sid Schwartz early in the year, that even in some of her really, really great outings, she was falling behind 2-0 and then tying it back up at 2-2. As you said, though, we've been seeing it through the entire staff. And it'll fall to 3-1.
And the Oregon hitters have done a great job of allowing these at-bats to go on for quite some time. I mean, they hit a lot of foul balls, and then they let the Minnesota pitchers throw balls as well. So they're not really chasing too much out of the zone.
Swung on, shallow left. That'll bring 1 run in. They'll send the second. The play at home, no play. Chavez cuts it off. So 2 runs score. And just like that, the game already slipping out of hand for the Gophers. 4-0 lead. And it is an RBI single off the bat of Ayana Shaw.
I mean, the best possible outcome of that the Gophers got with keeping the runner on first. They tend to throw it to the wrong base, allowing the runner to advance a little bit farther than they probably should.
So we're going to get a pinch hitter, Brazy Rosa, the sophomore. She started yesterday's game and went 0 for 4. On Friday, she started and went 0 for 2, but did score a run and actually had a run batted in on fielder's choice. Swung and missed. 1-1 count, 2 outs, runner on first. Oregon's lead now up to 4. The throw down to second, not in time. And it's hard to catch those Oregon base runners.
Especially on a changeup. I must say, though, I do think Sousa needs to start throwing her changeup a little bit more earlier in the counts instead of leaving it for the strikeout pitch. While that is always great to see, striking batters out on changeups, I do think she could be a little bit more successful to incorporate the pitch earlier on.
Off the helmet of Kraft. And we'll go again. I misspoke earlier. Oregon has actually only lost when leading after 1 or 2. If they've been leading after 3, 4, 5, or 6, they have not lost this season. The 2-2. And the fans wanted that one, but it'll bring the count full. Or rather, now a 2-2 count. That was the 1-2 pitch. She'll pop that one up. And just a sloppy miscommunication by the Gopher defense. And so it'll be another 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, those are tough. We heard Sid Schwartz, first baseman, calling Taylor Kraft off. But Taylor was right under the ball, so you kind of, it's a give or take there. It is hard for catchers to catch those, and we see Taylor stepping on the bat there.
So a 2-2. Misses for ball 3.
I just know Minnesota's defense is hoping that doesn't come back to bite them in the butt here, as that is, I mean, you said it, it's just a communication error.
Full count, runner on second. Another one fouled off. It's Shaw that's on second. Two outs, full count to the pinch hitter, Rosa. And just past the outstretched glove of Schwartz over at first. We'll try it again. And you can hear how loud the Oregon dugout is. It's something that they've been good about all year. Autumn, you talked about how fun a team they are to watch. I don't think I've seen it as much as yesterday, given that they came back from being down 2-0. And another foul. So this is looking a lot more like the Friday game in how many fouls and full counts we're getting.
And I'm sure the Oregon hitters are just waiting for that change-up call, getting it right, and then waiting on it and sitting back, or even just any other pitch that Natalie leaves over the middle of the plate.
Well, it got a bit jammed, but it'll get the job done. Single, a run will come in. Oregon's lead up to 5.
Not completely squaring up the ball at all there. It's what we call a duck fart in softball. Funny coming from the Oregon Ducks. But like we said, I mean, that foul pop fly with the miscommunication error came to get the Gophers a little bit.
Another ball fouled off. It's been a theme all year for sure. And the kind of thing that you hope you can clean up against a team like Oregon, because you know they're going to pounce on it. It's 5 runs on 6 hits and 2 Gopher errors. Strike there on the inside edge to Kaylin Jones. She's shown the power this weekend. Kraft will look back Rosa over at first, but not risk a throw. It's a 1-2 count. And again, they seem to be on Souza, just waiting for the right pitch. Again fouled off. We'll get another 1-2. What's the mindset in these deep at-bats when you just can't seem to break through them?
I mean, just using your best stuff and hoping that your defense can help you out behind you.
Well, she gets a fly ball, the shallow left. Cosgriff is there to put it away, and the Gophers give up 3 ducks on top. Or good afternoon. Cosgriff will take a ball. She's 0 for 1 on the day. She flew out to left. The only hit coming from Kayla Chavez. Hit to deep center. But Lushar's there to make the play.
That looks just like her first at bat as well. You also have to keep in mind the Oregon hitters are going on their 4th time around the lineup, where the Gopher hitters are still on their 2nd time around the lineup. So they are on the losing side of that with seeing grind as many times as possible.
Taken by Schwartz. Of course, they did see her through a total of about 7 innings earlier in the series. Same thing going the other way, though, as Schwartz pitched 7 yesterday. That ball got away from her, so a 2-0 count to Schwartz. 1 out, bottom 5. Now, you know Ritter's strategy as well as anybody. Do you think she keeps Sousa here? Does she go back to Schwartz at some point if they get a run or two, cut the lead down?
I would love to guess, but I feel like this whole season, a lot of things have been probably different than a lot of us think maybe how we would use our pitchers. But I mean, the only option to be successful would honestly to go back to Schwartz. We've just seen the other pitchers on the staff kind of derailed the games. So,
well, the Gophers certainly would want to get the bats going first. No reason to waste the ace's arm if they can't get anything going on offense. Of course, they were shut out through 5 innings on Friday night. And Schwartz will take another ball, make it a full count. Called strike 3 on Schwartz. 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And that'll bring up Kayla Chavez. She's got the Gophers' only hit today.
Minnesota's hitters just look so timid in the box right now, and pretty much every at-bat against Grind, honestly. She just looks like she's controlling every little bit of the at-bat. So it's been a great job by her this whole entire weekend.
Well, we've seen a total of, I'd say, around 5 very well hit balls by the Gophers today. Some good plays out in left and center. Not much action out there in right for Ayana Shaw. She did make 1 catch. But those were much more concentrated earlier in the game. It seems like they haven't been driving the ball quite as much lately. Chavez, a big leg kick, and she'll take ball 1.
And Grind has, in these later innings, started to miss a little bit more over the middle of the plate, which the Oregon hitters, when the pitcher misses over the middle of the plate, they take advantage of that and they swing, whereas the Gopher hitters are kind of back on their heels, not swinging at it, almost like they're waiting for something better, but nothing really gets better than a pitch down the middle, honestly.
Well, certainly taking pitches and working in the count helped on Friday at least reduce the strikeouts. But like you said, that timid factor, bats haven't exactly been alive other than Taylor Craffen and 1 or 2 big hits in the 7th last evening. Chavez, another one fouled back. She'll work with the 1-2 count. After her, it's Tinley Easton, and then back to the top of the order. She'll drive it shallow right, and the play is made by Kaylin Jones. That will retire the side. Gophers, well, they quickly brought Sousa back in. She, again, we were talking about this. She had been giving up runs, but she still seemed like she was pitching a good game, and it really got out of hand when Hozick came in.
Yeah, those 4 hits happened on 11 pitches, so things happened very quickly, and then like you said, Sousa came right back in.
So a chance for a better outing today. Sky Luchar, 0 for 3. She had a very impressive reaching base streak earlier in the season, but has not found that since. It was 25, her longest reach base streak. The next highest was 16 from Brazy Rosa. Both of those now over. A 2-2 count to Kai Lushar. She's gotten some action out in left field today. She'll drive one and fall for a single just over Tobias. Looks like Burnett wanted to think about getting her back at first, but not a whole lot you can do with a runner that fast. Well, not where the Gophers want to be with Lushar on first leadoff. We'll see how many pitches till she takes off here. Certainly a possibility, but hard to imagine they wouldn't send her in the first couple pitches of the at-bat. Snicky at the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. She'll take strike one. She grounded out to short, back to the pitcher, and then reached on an error from Tobias. Now working with 2 strikes. The error in the fourth, that was the one where Tobias looked like she tried to make the tag before the play and fouled back. Watching Lushar over there on first, running towards second, she had no idea where it was. She was taken off, just looking around, and then eventually realized it was foul. We'll see if she goes again. It's ball one. So a 1-2 count. Lushar still on first base. Getting an aggressive jump, but not fully trying to take second.
I mean, not that pitch. The pitch before was a little bit higher in the zone, so you see that brings Kraft up from her squat. So no matter how fast you are, if catcher's already going to be a little bit more in that throwing position, even if she does throw from her knees, that's testing the waters.
There she goes. And easily safe under it.
And I think that's the right pitch to go on. I mean, it's a changeup. Hard to be that fast and get out on a changeup.
Certainly different righty versus lefty. A lot of the stolen bases, both of the errors when runners were stealing were when they went up and in on lefties. So as there you see strike 3, so a runner on second, 1 out. And Hosek gets her first strikeout of the game. Tedry Lushar, 3 for 3 on the day. A single in the first, a 2-run homer in the third, and then a single that she scored on in the 5th. She'll try to lay one down. And that single in the first again being a bunt single. She leads the team hitting .471. And one of the things that makes this lineup so dangerous is that any given series or any given day, it can be a different player that has a great day.
And I think that's just, I mean, we see it a lot in baseball and softball especially. It's just every single game is so different. I mean, you might have majority of the same people on the field, but the outcomes are just so different.
Well, with how shallow Chavez is playing, Luchar's getting a pretty good jump over at second. Especially with a lefty up, probably not worth taking third, but any pass ball, any misplayed behind the plate by Kraft. It's a ground ball right back up the middle. Play over to first, and so 2 outs with the runner on third.
Great job by Hosek making adjustments from her last outing. I mean, she had a ball hit exactly like that to her. Same underhand flip where she just chucked it past first base, and 2 runs actually scored on that.
Emma Cox for the Ducks with a runner on third. Cox 1 for 2 today. She did reach on a walk, and then she had that double back in the last inning. She'll take for ball 2. And just barely missing her spot. The 3-0 does clip that edge, and so a 3-1 count to Cox, the cleanup hitter. The 6th run on third base. She'll drive one foul, bringing the count full. And Hazick up to 20 pitches through 2 outs and the runner on third. Fouled back once again. Caught off the net by Kraft. We get another full count. The Gophers will return with Easton, Tobias, and Kraft. 9-1-2. The game absolutely not out of reach by the Gophers, but they do have to keep the energy up, and these long at-bats are not helping.
Yeah, no, definitely. Hosick needs to have a little change-up possibly within this at-bat. Just change the speed, something.
Well, she'll fire at 64 once more with the same result. Try it again. Full count. Driven out to center. Burnett backtracking, makes the play, and the Gophers get out of it. No. Sending it back to the top of the order. Easton 0 for 1. Gophers still just the second time through the order, this being the last batter second time through the order, as she'll foul back to make it a 1-1 count. Oregon, on the other hand, halfway through the 4th time through the order, so Gophers just having trouble reaching base, haven't been productive with runners on, 0 for 5.
Which you keep hearing us say, these are things that have been happening all season. The Gophers have been able to get runners on in a lot of their games. They're just not able to convert those runners into runs.
Well, the Gophers haven't had a base runner since the leadoff single in the 3rd inning by Kayla Chavez. It's been 9 straight retired for Grind. In fact, only 2 base runners on the day. Kraft getting hit by that pitch, second at bat of the game. The drive to right, almost the play made by second, but it'll be a leadoff single for Tinley Easton, and the Gophers have a leadoff base runner.
Off such a great pitcher like Grind, the Gophers can't expect to have these absolutely amazing hits, so they have to work with what they got. And what they've been doing all season is hitting balls in the gap or hitting little bloopers like that.
Back to the top of the order with Tobias. She struck out looking in both of her first 2 at-bats. She'll drive it to center. And the play not made by Luchar as it makes its way to the fence. We'll have at least runners on the corners. Yes, they will hold Easton over at third, so a deep single. And we've got runners on the corners for the Gophers, no outs.
Oregon's outfield has been doing great all weekend, except they've had 2 plays in this game alone where just those sun balls, I mean, the sun is barely peeking out above the press box here, so I mean, I've been on this field before. I know how bad that sun is. So high fly balls and sun don't go well together.
Mound visit for the Ducks. Gophers convening over by the third baseline. And so it's 5-0 Ducks, runners on the corners, bottom of the 6th. Gophers 2-3-4, up Kraft again, not the player that you want to see for the Ducks up, but of course still in the hole is the tying run. See there, Valencia, Snippas, Burnett. Combined 0 for 6, which is pretty representative of how the Gophers are doing. They've got 3 hits, and that all came from 8-9-1, Chavez, Easton, Kraft. The latter 2 coming, of course, just in this inning. This is the first time the Gophers have a runner in scoring position for an at-bat. And nobody they'd rather have up for the situation. Kraft in the batter's box. She'll foul one off hard, just get 2 out in front of it, and make it a 0-1 count.
These are really the moments that I personally feel like Taylor Kraft was built for. Runners in scoring position. I mean, she's not going to tie the game up here by any means, obviously. Not possible, but really these a little bit more stressful moments where the team is relying on her.
One count. Gophers decide not to send Tobias yet early here. The only big reason to being the double play threat. So we'll reset. 1-1 count to the power hitter, Taylor Kraft. She'll just miss that one, send it to 1-2.
Even in this situation with a hitter like Kraft up, grind is just so cool, calm, and collected. Like, it does not look like it phases her who is in the box at any moment in time.
Well, it gets her. Grind not as happy with that call, but it's bases loaded for Valencia.
I mean, besides hitting the ball far, I think the second best thing that Taylor is good at is getting hit by the pitch. That will be her 13th hit by pitch this season, second in today's game as well.
Well, this is as many contested hit by pitches as I think I've seen in one game. But they will play on. So Valencia up with the tying runner on deck, still no outs. The Gophers still 0 for 0 with runners on. As they'll take a timeout and get a pinch runner over at first. It is Lucy Hooper taking the spot of Kraft. She pinch ran earlier in the series as well.
good news for the Gophers is if you don't have Taylor Craft up, you want Nani Valencia. So second, not even second option. I mean, she's still a great option for the Gophers to have up.
Well, the power is certainly there. We haven't seen it as much since US Bank Stadium, where she had some big home runs, even back-to-back with Kraft. Certainly now would be a good time for another one. So no outs to Valencia. She'll swing one foul into the Ducks dugout. Today she's flown out to right and grounded out to short. And a close pitch she'll take for ball one. Grind up to 81 pitches, 5 strikeouts. It's deep to left. A grand slam for Nani Valencia. Makes it a one-run ball game. Valencia makes it 5-4 and puts the Gophers back on top, or back within one, I should say. 6 of their runs this weekend coming via the long ball.
And that wasn't even a bad pitch by Grind by any means. Valencia just got under it. I mean, we were talking about she's the one who supplies the power in the lineup, so it's exactly, she did her job there.
Well, just when the Gophers need it, she delivers. And Autumn, we've been talking this weekend about how it seemed like yesterday was the day that the Gophers were going to get one. This is an Oregon team that is really dominant. And so for the Gophers to keep fighting after coming so close yesterday is a great sign, as we will see a new pitcher stepping in. It's Tukolsky. She started the game yesterday. So we will let her get loose and come back. 5-4 Ducks. Offensive strides this season, I should say. And still no outs in the bottom of the 6th. She'll take to a 1-1 count. The difference already between this game and the rest of the weekend is the Gophers have momentum late. It felt like they were starting to lose their momentum after they went out to a 2-0 lead yesterday, whereas here, it is fully in their favor. They just got off a scoreless inning on defense and still have a chance to add more this inning. Way out in front, makes it a 2-2 count.
I think in order for Oregon to stay successful, they need to throw a lot more changeups. We didn't really see that from Grind. She does have one, but she didn't really rely on it too heavily. So to keep these hitters off balance, kind of cut their momentum down, it's going to be the most effective way to do it.
Well, she rings her up. Snippas goes down swinging, bringing up Breezy Burnett.
The center fielder, number 1, Breezy Burnett.
Certainly so impressed with the fight the Gophers have shown this weekend against the number 4 team in the nation. They, looks like, got it all out of their system on Friday, and now showing up. Maybe the most perseverance we've seen from them all year. Burnett 0 for 2. She struck out in the 2nd, flew out to center in the 4th. That was one of those good plays in center by Luchard, deep fly out. So take to a 2-1 count. 5-4 was the final score yesterday. Gophers certainly hoping to at least tie things up here in this inning. Just one out in the bottom of the sixth. The 2-2 count to Breezy Burnett hitting in that 5 spot. After her, Cosgrove shorts Chavez. She'll swing one out to right. And there to make the play is Ayana Shaw. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
The left fielder, number 24, Jay Cosgrove.
Cosgrove steps into the box. She'll swing through the first one. She is the 3rd batter faced by Sokolsky.
And Sokolsky's really just doing the job that she was brought in to do, and that's shut these Minnesota hitters down. Like I said earlier, stop their momentum from getting any stronger.
Đi. Không có gì.
Minnesota's runs yesterday were split between Sokolsky and Grine. 2 on each. Of course, all 4 today from Grine.
Tắm rồi mà.
And a check swing looks like she went no on the appeal to 3rd. So it's a 2-1 count.
Được quả đấy. Được quả đấy.
Cosgrove, the 6 hitter, will foul another one off. 7th batter of the at-bat of the inning. She'll foul off to keep it 2-2. And we'll see a brief mound visit from Emma Cox. The Oregon pitching staff really does heavily rely on their ace, as again we were talking about this off air, just how it's different in how teams rely on a single pitcher now less than they used to years ago. But they do have some good backup options.
Yeah, they do. They definitely split their time with Grind a little bit differently than most teams do, but I don't know that any team is really using a pitcher for 7 straight innings anymore.
Another fouled off. Certainly a difference from when you were playing and what it's been like for a while. And lots of factors contributing to that, but you see it at almost all the major programs these days. Once more, a 2-2. And we'll try it again. 17 pitches, 7 of those coming on this at-bat.
I think she needs to go back to that changeup.
And she gets the strikeout. So the Ducks able to get would be the 8th batter of the inning. For now, it's Riley McCoy up. Second in a stretch of 4 straight underclassmen. And it looks like they will bring in a pinch hitter. So it's Remington Hewitt. That looks like will be taking the spot of McCoy. Remington Hewitt, the junior.
7th inning and pinch hitting for Oregon, number 15, Remington Hewitt.
She pinch hit in Friday's game went 0 for 1. Did not play yesterday. She'll work with the 2-0 count. Now the Gophers did enter yesterday's 7th inning down 3 and brought it within 1. So they've shown they can have late rallies. Hewitt, the 263 hitter, working with a 3-0 count. You see her season stats there. 263 on the year, has that 1 home run. She'll ground over to first, and the play made by Schwartz. 1 up, 1 down to start off the 7th.
Yeah, I mean, a hard hit ball up the line. Schwartz just able to stop it. A little bobble, but gets her out at first.
Well, that's the kind of play that if she reached first, that's been the pattern for the Gophers in leading to some runs, so a good job recovering it. And nice and early getting ahead here. Katie Flannery. The Gophers have Schwartz, Chavez, Easton up, a combined 2 for 6 on the day, and then back to Tobias. Swung on and missed for strike 2. And of all the innings they've been on defense, this is one the Gophers would really like to get out of quickly. Strike 3. Hozick retires the second batter of the inning, brings it to 2 outs in the top of the 7th. And that'll bring up Ayanna Shaw, who's 1 for 2 on the day.
Hozick's just really been able to forget about that game on Friday and the 4 batters, 4 hits that she gave up in that game. She's doing a great job today.
Well, she gets ahead again on that foul. She's just given up 1 hit. Faced 6 batters. Ayanna Shaw here being the 6th. Shaw will try to lay one down. And you heard the fans not too happy with that, so a 1-1 count. Make it 2 strikes. Hozick pitching to Shaw. Fouled off. This inning, it was the grounder over to first, then the strikeout. The Gophers have yet to get a 1-2-3 inning. And that pitch misses just a little bit low from doing so. Two to Shaw. Down the line, Chavez makes the throw over. 3 up, 3 down. The first 1-2-3 inning for
In that last inning, she's been using her changeup heavily to keep these hitters off balanced, looking to do that to end the game here.
She'll get ahead right off the bat. Schwartz today 0 for 2. She had a hit yesterday. At this point in the game, though, just hoping for any way on for Sir. She'll swing through that one, make it a 1-2 count. Again, behind her is Chavez, then Easton.
And the Gophers know it doesn't really have to be pretty. It just has to be literally anything.
Strike 3, swung right through it. And so the Gophers down to their last 2 outs. Kayla Chavez had the first hit of the game for a while, and she'll get another chance here.
I mean, when you're a pitcher who has a great changeup, that's all you really need. If you can command your changeup and you have one other pitch, it does not really matter. You are in those hitters' heads.
Rally caps on in the Gopher dugout. Chavez will take strike 1. Skolsky doing a good job getting ahead of batters. She'll swing it out to short, to first, and the Gophers now down to their last out. 0 for 6 this game with batting with 2 outs.
With second baseman, number 2, Tinley Easton.
Tinley Easton at the plate. 1 for 2 if she manages to get on. Tobias is up next. She'll take a ball off the plate. Ground ball to third. Over to first, that will do it. A great fight by the Gophers. After being down 5-0, brought it down to a 1-run game with 1 swing of the bat. But just like yesterday, can't quite get the job done in the bottom of the 7th, and Oregon takes it 5-4.